Like, I think a lot of times people think because you talk about it, like, oh, you're glorifying it or something that you're proud of. Like, that's the whack that I ever went through in my entire life. I'm a person, I don't like to ask people for stuff.
Right.
And when you're in prison, you have to constantly ask people. Even if you have money, you have to ask somebody to do it.
Right.
You have to depend on people. And that was probably, besides, missing my family and stuff like that, that was the most annoying thing to me, having to call, like, for basic shit, soap. And I'm mad specific. Like, I used to be on the phone with Pap, like, all right, now go down the next aisle. Are you on aisle number 4 right now? Look on the right side.
And it's something that you have to learn over time, like, because you just couldn't say, like, I'm from New York where you say pause and no homo to everything.
Everything.
Like, to everything, even as a girl. I'm a girl. Or like you'll say something
but
like,
then when I say it, y'all look at me crazy.
You be like, hey, yo, like, yeah, because you be a little bit more,
like,
but that's
forward.
how we grew up. And then when you become an adult and you start meeting other people and you start traveling, you be like, hold up. A lot of things is like that, though, not just with sexuality. Yeah. Even with what we were talking about earlier about snitching and keeping it real in the streets. A lot of things that we were taught growing up in the hood is f***ed up, and it f***ed us up.
For real.
Where you're not supposed to say this, and you're not supposed to do this, and you should do this. And that's really not the way the world works. And when you remove yourself and you make it out of that environment and you are a business person.
I heard some of her records that hasn't come out yet. And I'm so excited.
Yes.
Like she's like a rapper. Like, and I think that's why we click. Like, she reminds me of like how I used to be. She's super hands-on. I'm like, well, what do you do? Well, I'm thinking this week, I got my schedule together and I'm gonna call up this DJ, then we're gonna go over here, then I'm gonna shoot this video. And I'll be like, who's this? She'll be like, me. Like, she's like me, very, I'm doing it. And I like that because I know that's how you get what you want. And that's how because if you wait for the label or the manager, the assistant, like, there's certain times where you just gotta go and you just gotta.
I'm like, don't just go over there eating anything crazy, okay? Just stick to what you know. He's a big guy. He likes to eat, so you got to make sure he's okay.
So Remy, you're breaking glass ceilings in this battle rap. What's going on?
Well, a couple of years ago, I had this idea that I was going to start a battle rap league. And one of my main reasons behind it, because I started noticing the disparities between the females and the men. Like, the pay gap was so huge that it was disrespectful. And a lot of people may not know, but I come from battle rap, and I just felt like had I not had the opportunities I had, like to meet Big Pun and Joe and have hit records and Grammy nominations, I could have been one of these girls with a family, and this is my career, and I'm being, treated the way they're being treated. I would want somebody like myself with the power to come in.
Listen up, guys, because this Remy Ma and Papoose situation is getting wilder by the minute. After years of being hip-hop's ultimate power couple, everything's falling apart in the most dramatic way possible. Fresh sources reveal that while Remy's been out here acting like she's living her best life with Easy the Block Captain, Papoose has been quietly collecting receipts that are about to change everything. We're talking about evidence that exposes what really happened to their marriage. The streets are saying Easy's already stepping out on Remy. And Papoose isn't just sitting back, he's actually using this moment to show everyone he tried to warn her. But here's what makes this situation really spicy. While Remy's been trying to paint Pap as the bad guy, he's got proof that tells a completely different story. Think about it. This man stood by her through prison, helped raise her kid, and built an empire with her. Now he's watching her throw it all away for someone who can't even stay faithful for a few months. The timeline of this mess is where things get really interesting. Sources close to the situation say Remy started acting different right after that Chrome 23 battle rap event. That's when Easy started showing up at places he had no business being. What's wild is how Papoose handled it initially. Instead of calling her out publicly, he tried to address things privately. But Remy, she was already moving different, staying out late, claiming she was working on music when she was really playing house with Easy. Multiple witnesses confirmed seeing Remy and Easy together at industry events while Papoose was at home with their daughter. The disrespect was so obvious that even other rappers started reaching out to Pap about what they were seeing. But here's the part nobody's talking about. While Remy was sneaking around, Papoose was documenting everything. Every late night, every lie about her whereabouts, every suspicious studio session, he kept receipts for all of it. Now let's talk about that infamous industry event where Papoose allegedly knocked Easy out. Everyone thought it was just rumors until security footage started circulating in private group chats. The way Easy tried to deny it happened, pure comedy. Eyewitnesses say Easy walked up to Papoose like everything was cool, tried to shake his hand, acting like he wasn't just caught leaving Remy's house the night before. But Pap wasn't playing those games. One punch later, Easy was taking an unscheduled nap on the floor. The really wild part? While Easy was laid out, Remy actually helped him up and left with him. We're talking about leaving a whole event with her unconscious side piece while her husband, the father of her child, was still standing there. Industry veterans say they've never seen anything like it. Even the most dramatic love and hip-hop episodes can't compete with how this situation played out in real life. And those security cameras caught every single second of it. The social media warfare between these three is reaching nuclear levels. After Easy tried to cap about the knockout on Twitter, Papoose dropped those text messages where Remy was literally begging him to lie about what happened. Screenshots show Remy texting Pap, "Please just say it didn't happen, I'll handle everything else." But Papoose wasn't having it. Instead of playing along, he exposed how she spent 4 whole days nursing Easy back to his ego while their daughter was asking where mommy was. The messages Remy sent Papoose will make your stomach turn when you realize how she switched up. What's really telling is how the hip-hop community is reacting. OGs who usually stay out of drama are actually speaking up, saying how Remy's actions are disappointing considering everything Papoose did for her. Even Fat Joe, who typically minds his business, had to check Remy about her conduct. Meanwhile, Easy's out here trying to flex on social media like he won something, posting about how if it was that easy, anybody could have done it, completely missing how he's actually proving Papoose's point about Remy making bad choices. Let's talk about how Papoose linked up with Claressa Shields, because this part of the story shows exactly who won the breakup. While Remy's out here getting played by Easy, Pap's building something real with a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. The way Claressa stepped into this situation is actually impressive. She's not just dating Papoose, she's showing Remy exactly what she lost. We're talking about a woman who's accomplished, focused, and actually appreciates what Pap brings to the table. The way Claressa handled Remy's social media attacks won't make you stand up and applaud. When Remy tried to clown Claressa about her looks, saying Pap would never be interested, guess what surfaced? DMs showing Claressa had actually been in Remy's inbox before, being friendly and supportive. The irony is thick with this one. But here's what's really got people talking. Claressa offered to fight Remy for just $1. Not for clout, not for money, just to handle business. Meanwhile, Remy's been real quiet since that challenge dropped. The financial implications of this split are where things get really messy. Sources say Remy's been trying to maintain control over certain business ventures she started with Papoose. But there's just one problem. She signed a lot of documents during their marriage that she clearly didn't read. Industry insiders reveal that Papoose was actually the business brain behind their empire, while Remy was focused on being in front of cameras. He was quietly building their wealth through smart investments and strategic partnerships. Now she's discovering that leaving Pap means losing access to a lot more than just emotional support. We're talking about real estate holdings, business connections, and investment opportunities that were all structured under his guidance. Meanwhile, Easy's contribution to Remy's empire, taking her to clubs and spending her money. The contrast between how these two men handle business is becoming more obvious by the day. And it's making Remy look worse with every new detail that emerges. The battle rap community's reaction to this whole situation is absolutely wild. Remember when Remy was supposed to be building Chrome 23 into the next big platform? Well, sources say that while she was busy catching feelings for Easy, Papoose was actually handling all the business logistics. Multiple battle rappers have come forward confirming that Pap was the one making sure everyone got paid on time, while Remy was more concerned with how she looked on camera. Now that they're split, Chrome 23's future is looking shakier than Easy's battle rap career. The leaked Chrome 23 business documents expose who was really running things. What's really interesting is how the female battle rappers are taking sides. Instead of automatically backing Remy, most of them are showing support for Papoose. They've seen firsthand how he respects women in the industry, while Easy's got a reputation for playing games. Even Geechee Gotti, who usually stays neutral, had to speak up about how Remy's moving lately. When you've got the face of URL questioning your choices, you know something's seriously wrong. The way the situation is affecting their daughter is what's really got people side-eyeing Remy's decisions. Sources close to the family say the little girl's been asking questions about why mommy's always with Uncle Easy instead of being home. Papoose has been trying to shield their daughter from the drama, but it's getting harder with Remy posting all over social media about her new relationship. Think about it, this man's having to explain to their child why her mother's acting like a teenager in love on Instagram. Teachers at their daughter's school have noticed changes in her behavior. especially after other kids started bringing up what they've seen online about her parents. While Papoose is showing up for every school event, Remy's been sending Easy to pick up their daughter, something that's making everyone uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Remy's trying to paint this narrative about being a strong, independent woman, but she's literally choosing a new man over quality time with her child. The way she's handling motherhood during this situation, it's making even her biggest supporters question her priorities. The hip-hop community's reaction to Eazy's latest battle performance tells us everything we need to know about how this situation's affecting his career. Man got on stage trying to flex about bagging Remy, but the crowd wasn't having it. During his battle against Gichichi, Eazy tried to spin the situation like he'd won some kind of prize. But when he made Remy stand up and declare her love for him mid-battle, that's when everything went left. The secondhand embarrassment in that room was thicker than smoke in a cipher. Veterans in the culture say they've never seen someone fumble their reputation this badly. Here's a dude who had respect in the battle rap scene. Now he's just known as the guy who helped break up hip-hop's most solid marriage. Even Yorel's Smack had to pull Eazy aside after that battle to talk about how he's presenting himself. When the platform owner has to check you about your conduct, you know you're moving wrong. The way Claressa Shields stepped into this situation deserves its own chapter. Instead of playing petty games like Remy expected, she's showing real class while simultaneously letting everyone know she's ready for whatever drama comes her way. In that viral interview, Claressa broke it down perfectly. I'm a professional fighter, but I don't have to fight for Papoose's attention. I already have it. The shade in that statement was so elegant. It made Remy's Instagram rants look even more desperate. Claressa's response to Remy's threats will have you standing and applauding. What's really interesting is how the boxing community is rallying behind Claressa and Papoose. These aren't just battle rap fans or hip-hop heads. We're talking about Olympic athletes and world champions showing support for their relationship. Meanwhile, Remy's trying to clown Claressa's appearance, not realizing she's coming at someone who's actually achieved worldwide recognition. The contrast between their accomplishments, it's making Remy look smaller with every post. Let's talk about how Papoose's music has evolved since this split, because his new tracks are hitting different. Instead of being bitter, he's dropping gems about growth and self-respect that have the whole industry nodding in agreement. His latest freestyle, Pure Fire. Without even naming names, he painted a perfect picture of how loyalty dies when people let fame change them. The bars about watching someone choose temporary pleasure over permanent peace had the whole hip-hop community in their feelings. Meanwhile, Remy's music is telling on her. Her recent verses are full of defensive bars, trying to justify her actions, but they're coming across more desperate than defiant. When she tried to flip the narrative in that battle rap event, even her fans were cringing. The industry's reaction to their different approaches speaks volumes. While Papoose is getting calls for features and collaborations, Remy's struggling to maintain the respect she once had in the culture. Even female rappers who used to look up to her are distancing themselves. The social media meltdown from Remy after discovering Eazy's been unfaithful is exactly what Papoose predicted. Sources say she caught Eazy texting multiple women, including some who were supposedly her friends. What's really wild is how Eazy tried to flip it, claiming he was networking for his music career. But those screenshots that leaked, they weren't about music at all. We're talking late-night messages, hotel meetups, and all kinds of disrespect while Remy was busy defending him online. Papoose's response to all this? Pure class. Instead of clowning Remy publicly, he just posted a video spending time with their daughter, captioned "Focus on what matters." The contrast between how these men handle themselves, it's telling everyone everything they need to know. Meanwhile, the women Eazy was messaging are starting to come forward with their stories. Turns out he was using Remy's name to slide into DMs, promising to help other female artists with their careers if they kept things quiet. The business impact of this whole situation is hitting Remy harder than anyone expected. Chrome 23's investors are pulling back, seeing how she's handling personal drama in public. Those major sponsorship deals she had lined up, they're quietly disappearing. Industry insiders reveal that while Remy's been focused on defending her relationship with Eazy, Papoose has been making power moves in the background. He's not just dating Claressa, they're building a sports and entertainment empire together that's already attracting serious investors. The financial statements that just leaked show who's really winning post-divorce. What's really fascinating is how the battle rap community is shifting their allegiances. Leagues that used to prioritize booking Remy are now reaching out to Papoose first. They're seeing who really had the business acumen in that relationship. Even Fat Joe, who's always been in Remy's corner, had to admit publicly that she's making moves that could damage her legacy. When your day one mentor has to check you about your choices, That's when you know things have gone seriously left. The contrast in their professional trajectory since the split is becoming impossible to ignore. While Papoose is expanding into new ventures and building legitimate business relationships, Remy's struggling to maintain the partnerships she already had. The final chapter of this story shows exactly how karma comes full circle. While Remy's dealing with Easy's infidelity becoming public, Papoose and Claressa are out here showing what real partnership looks like. Sources close to Easy reveal he's not just cheating, he's been using Remy's connections and resources to pursue other women in the industry. We're talking about using her studio time, her contacts, even her Chrome 23 platform to slide into DMs and set up meetings that had nothing to do with music. Meanwhile, Papoose and Claressa are building something legitimate. They're combining their influence in hip-hop and sports to create opportunities for young talent. While Remy's reputation is taking hits, they're out here making positive headlines and securing major business deals. The really ironic part, those same women who Remy accused of trying to steal Papoose during their marriage, they're now coming forward with screenshots showing Easy tried to message them too. The way karma's working overtime in this situation has the whole industry watching in amazement. But here's what's really going to shake things up. The evidence that's about to drop about Easy's other relationships. Turns out Remy wasn't the only one he was playing house with. Multiple women are preparing to share their stories, complete with timestamps that overlap with his relationship with Remy. The impact on their careers is becoming crystal clear. While Papoose is being celebrated as an example of growth and dignity after divorce, Remy's struggling to maintain the respect she once had in the industry. The way she handled this situation, it's becoming a cautionary tale about letting temporary attention destroy permanent foundations. As this story continues to unfold, one thing's becoming obvious. Sometimes the person who thinks they're upgrading ends up learning the hardest lesson about value and loyalty.